shoot from everywhere. Victoria Pleasant boss admits they deliberately targeted Andre Onana as Man United goalkeeper makes another terrible blunder in Europa League. Pleasant's approach paid off as Onana's mistake led to the opening goal of the match on Thursday night. Just 2 minutes into the second half, Onana attempted to initiate play from the back, but Pavel Sulk intercepted his pass. He then quickly laid the ball across the box for Matic Vidra, who found the back of the net with ease, giving the home side a surprising lead. Kalbek's tactical gamble almost paid off handsomely, but Pleasant failed to hold on to their advantage, ultimately succumbing to United's determined response with Rasmus Højlund scoring a brace to bail out his teammate. After 2 consecutive defeats in the Premier League, it was a welcome victory for Ruben Amorim, who is yet to implement his vision and philosophy at Carrington after a month of taking charge. Speaking after the game, Kubik confirmed to reporters that Pleasant's plan was to exploit Onana's vulnerabilities. "Yes, that was our tactic," he said. "I told them to shoot from every viable opportunity." The latest error comes just days after Onana faced criticism for his performance in Manchester United's 3-2 defeat to Nottingham Forest. In that game, United found themselves trailing early to a second-minute strike by Nikola Milenkovic. Although Højlund once again came to United's rescue with an equalizer, Onana's inability to keep out Morgan Gibbs-White's long-range effort in the second half helped give Forest the win. The England international's speculative shot appeared to deceive Onana, who misjudged the trajectory as it flashed past him into the net. United now face a challenging schedule as they prepare to take on Premier League champions Manchester City on Sunday. Following the league clash, the Red Devils will shift focus to a Carabao Cup round of 16 tie against Tottenham Hotspur on December 19th. Chelsea secured a 3-1 victory in Almaty as they defeated Astana in the UEFA Conference League on Thursday evening. The sub-zero temperatures were ultimately overcome with Enzo Maresca's men maintaining their perfect record in the competition so far. Speaking to TNT Sports, both Rory Smith and Don Hutchison were impressed by midfielder Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall and the club's Italian manager. Don Hutchison and Rory Smith praised Enzo Maresca and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall after Chelsea's impressive display against Astana in the UEFA Conference League. Chelsea were 3-1 victors on Thursday night as they maintained their perfect record in the competition. While goalscorer Mark Guiu impressed, Dewsbury-Hall was also a standout performer, and speaking on TNT Sports, former Liverpool midfielder Hutchison claimed the 26-year-old could be the next player from Enzo Maresca's second string to establish himself in the domestic lineup. "We were saying, 2 or 3 games into this competition, there's 2 different sides," he said. "The side that plays Thursday night, you know they're not going to play at the weekend. Joao Felix has started to appear in the Premier League, so he's forced his way into the side because of this competition. The next one, I think, will be Dewsbury-Hall. His attitude is good." Journalist Smith noted that Jadon Sancho and Pedro Neto had also used the Conference League as a springboard to feature more prominently under the club's new manager, who has turned the Blues into potential title challengers this season. He said, "Chelsea are in a great moment, and they're flying. They've got a really deep squad, I think probably the deepest squad in the league, because of that recruitment. He's got this situation where he can use the Conference League to keep the players fresh and interested. I think we've seen a little bit more movement between the teams than Dom mentioned. City have made an astonishing £176 million in the last 3 years, $223 million on selling academy players, contributing to the club making record revenues for consecutive years and continuing to make handsome profits. The majority of those players had never even made it into Guardiola's matchday squad. Some of them had never even spent any significant time in Manchester, such as Yankauto and Pedro Porro, who were loaned to Girona before being sold on, while others had practically grown up at the club. It has long been the case at most Premier League clubs that the majority of academy players will not develop into first-team regulars, with Foden and Lewis being the 2 rare exceptions to that trend at City, but it really should have been 3. With every attacking player, aside from Erling Haaland, being starved of goals, it has been particularly frustrating from a City point of view to see how Cole Palmer has blossomed into one of the best players in the world at Chelsea. While Foden is still waiting to score his first Premier League goal this season, Palmer has scored 5 times in his last 3 games. The forward has 11 league goals for this campaign, to behind leaders Haaland and Mohamed Salah, while also boasting 6 assists. It follows an astonishing debut campaign with the Blues in which he scored 20 league goals and set up a further 11. As a result, it's left Guardiola and sporting director Tsaiki Bajirastain looking extremely short-sighted for sanctioning his sale. He made only 3 Premier League starts for the club, never scoring. Given his scant experience, Accepting a £40.5 million $54 million offer from Chelsea seemed like a no-brainer at the time, both the latest example of City's shrewd negotiating and Chelsea's hubris. How wrong that assessment would prove to be? Palmer is now the Premier League's poster boy and looks set to dominate the next decade unless he is ever tempted to follow the path of Jude Bellingham and move to one of the top clubs on the continent. He would certainly fit right in at Real Madrid, Barcelona or Bayern Munich, and he really should have fit into City. Guardiola knew he was a great player and has said he would have liked to have kept him for another year, but Palmer pushed to leave as he was determined to get more playing opportunities. Ultimately, Palmer had more belief in himself than Guardiola did. Chelsea's gain has been City's loss. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Manchester United are expected to freshen up their squad to help Ruben Amorim make new additions in his first summer window, with as many as 10 senior players at risk. Only a core of the current United squad are safe, as Amorim looks to reshape the playing personnel, with several out of contract at the end of the season, while others will be sold this summer. United are open to offers for Rashford, after another underwhelming start to the season from a player who was once valued at £100 million, but for whom United will now be lucky to get £40 million, after plundering a career-best 30 goals in the 2020-23 season. Rashford signed a new deal worth £300,000 a week, but scored just 8 last season and 7 this term. Selling homegrown players represents pure profit on the balance sheet, with United now ready to cash in on Rashford. Antony, an unmitigated flop, the £86 million United paid Ajax for the winger will go down as one of the most expensive mistakes in the history of English football, even more so because the Red Devils were initially quoted around £35 million for the Brazilian. Off-field issues, a lack of consistency on it, and a suspect attitude have combined to make the purchase of Antony symbolic of everything that has been wrong at United over the past decade, with moves already underway to sell him on, albeit at a huge loss. Victor Lindelof, out of contract at the end of the season. Lindelof, signed for £31 million by former United boss Jose Mourinho in 2017, has been surplus to requirements for some time. He has fallen down the defensive pecking order at Old Trafford, while a recent spate of injuries has reduced his availability, with the Swede restricted to 58 minutes of Premier League football this season and set to leave as a free agent at the end of the campaign. Christian Eriksen. Like Lindelof, Eriksen is out of contract at the end of this season and free to talk to other clubs from January 1st. Although he started Amorim's first game in charge, a 1-1 draw at Ipswich on November 24th, the midfielder has been an unused sub in 3 subsequent matches and did not feature at all in the other. Having joined United under former boss Erik ten Hag in 2022 as a free agent, Eriksen's time at Old Trafford is now coming to an end. Johnny Evans, the 36-year-old centre-back, underlined his enduring value when he returned to United last season, ostensibly as cover, but ended up playing far more regularly than he or the club anticipated when injuries decimated the defense. It says everything about United's defensive shortcomings that Evans, the oldest outfield player in United's current squad, has arguably been their most reliable centre-back, but he is out of contract in the summer and is set to move on. Casemiro. It was a surprise when the former Real Madrid star and 5-time Champions League winner did not leave in the summer after a disappointing second season at United, in which he failed to replicate the impact and influence of his first. Having joined for £60 million, he had a shocker in United's 3-0 defeat at home to Liverpool this season, at fault for 2 of the goals, before being subbed at halftime. On £350,000 a week, selling him for a modest fee and getting Casemiro off the wage bill is paramount for United. Harry Maguire. This summer it looks as though the England defender will finally make the move, after 6 years at Old Trafford. Stripped of the captaincy in the summer of 2023, when Ten Hag gave the armband to Bruno Fernandes, Maguire has been the epitome of professionalism since, showing reliability when others have been unavailable. Although out of contract at the end of the season, United have an option to extend it by a year, but are likely to try to cash in on the £80 million defender for around £15 million. Luke Shaw. Shaw's perpetual injury problems mean United are ready to cut their losses on the left back and sign a replacement who can provide the durability and reliability that has eluded him in a decade at the club. Since joining for £27 million, when fully fit, Shaw is one of the most accomplished left backs in Europe, with the added versatility of being able to play at left center half, in a back three favored by Amorim, but his latest injury setback has underlined why United are ready to sell him, although finding a buyer for a player who cannot remain fit is likely to prove problematic. Tyrell Malaysia, Erik ten Hag's first signing as United boss, has endured a nightmare spell, missing the whole of last season following knee surgery, then suffering a succession of related issues which delayed his comeback. Malaysia made his long-awaited return in United's 3-2 win over Bodo Glimt at the end of last month, but was way off the pace, at fault for one of the goals conceded and subbed at the break. Another United will look to move on in the summer, for around half of the £13 million they paid for him. Tom Heaton, goalkeeper Heaton returned to United in 2021, 11 years after first leaving the club, having not made a first-team appearance. He finally made his United debut in December 2021, as a sub in a Champions League match against Young Boys, with no appearances this season or last. It is no surprise that United will let the 38-year-old go next summer, when his contract is up. Cole Palmer launches bid to trademark shivering celebration as Chelsea star looks to cash in on Cold Palmer nickname. Cole Palmer's ice-cold celebration has quickly become a fan favorite. Cole Palmer is reportedly looking to cash in on the popularity of his shivering celebration. The 22-year-old has become one of the stars of the Premier League since his move from Manchester City to Chelsea in the summer of 2023. During that time he has become known as Cold Palmer, embracing the nickname with his ice-cold celebration. The celebration sees Palmer motion that he is cold by rubbing his arms and puffing out his cheeks. And the Sun report that he has now moved to trademark both the name and the celebration. Documents revealed that he wants to use it to sell a number of different products, including clothes, alcohol, food, toys, razor blades, aftershave, diet drinks, and cars. The Englishman has made an official application to the government's Intellectual Property Office, which includes a video of the celebration. Palmer first performed the celebration during a 3-2 victory at Luton last December, and it has become a regular sight, with the midfielder third in the Premier League Golden Boot standings this season with 11 goals. The England international revealed after the Luton game that he got the idea from fellow City Academy graduate Morgan Rogers, who had celebrated in a similar way when scoring for Middlesbrough against West Brom the previous week. He told the now Aston Villa man that he would do the same when he next scored and has now made it his own. This is not the first business move Palmer has made off the pitch, with the player recently part of a Burberry campaign. Palmer, specifically, was selected to model their wool cashmere duffel coat, priced at £2,490. In a video titled "The Duffel with Cole Palmer," Manchester United midfielder Bruno Fernandes fires warning to Man City ahead of Derby. Bruno Fernandes insisted Manchester United's players won't need extra energy to motivate themselves to beat Manchester City in the Derby this weekend. United came from behind to win 2-1 against FC Victoria Pleasant in the Europa League phase on Thursday night. Manchester City will welcome United to the Etihad on Sunday, and Pep Guardiola's side head into the clash in a crisis, having won just once in their last 10 matches. Both Manchester clubs are enduring disappointing seasons. City became the first club to win for Premier League titles on the bounce last term, but are suffering an almighty hangover, and United are 13th in the table, with Ruben Amorim desperately trying to make improvements. Fernandes was asked about the Manchester Derby after United's win in the Europa League and told Man United his teammates won't need any added incentive to deliver at the Etihad. "These kind of games don't need extra energy," he said. "You know what it means to play a Manchester Derby, you know how much it means for the city and fans. So we have to do everything we can to win. Also, as I said, we are not in the position we would like to be in the Premier League, which is the same in the Europa League, so we need points and we need to win. It's Manchester City in the Manchester Derby, but it's just another game that we want and we have to win." Fernandes reflected on the performance against Pleasant and added, "We knew it was going to be a tough game. They run a lot into man marking, so it's difficult to get on the ball and get away from their men. I hope Bruno Fernandes knows what is saying. This is Manchester Derby FC Victoria Pleasant, and this is the Premier League, not Europa League. I can't wait for that game. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you."